roses are red, your time is due. If we haven't yet met, then I shall stab you. And with this comment out of the way, I welcome you to Can You Beat Elden Ring with Flowers Only? Before the actual run begins, I'd first like to thank every one of you who kind of made my last video explode, at least for my circumstances. It was just so unexpected and I just want you to know that I'm really grateful. But enough with the cringe and let us begin. Let's begin by stating the rules. First, we can only use VARRE'S BOUQUET as a weapon, the roses. We are allowed to, of course, buff our damage output with oils, consumables or spells, like Golden Vow or Flame Grant Me Strength. No summons or spirit ashes, aka no cheese. I'll also be only defeating the required bosses, not every 160. But I'll add Melania for personal reasons only and to end the challenge with a boss that not only is hard as fuck but also makes me hard as we first of course have to get the weapon. Which class we pick is irrelevant since none of them starts with the Rose Bush. Red Flowey primarily scales with Arcane and needs 24 Arcane and 16 Dex to be used. So the best class would be the Bandit. He starts with 14 Arcane and has reasonably high Dex. We name our boy, pick the mature body type and a full beard since VARRE seems to be bathing in maidens. Give him pointless green hair and the run may begin. I first tried to get the weapon through VARRE'S questline, where at the end we end up invading him and killing him at Morgott Palace. So we first have to drain the main farmer's dialogue and get our horse through Melina. Melina is also the key that shall get us to the Round Table Hold, where we have to converse with the crowns to get VARRE to move on to the church in Leonia to progress his questline. But only after at least dying once to Margit, he gains our trust. I don't know what knowledge you gained by watching me die, Melina. Maybe you shouldn't put all of your hopes into a guy who can't even defeat the tutorial boss. Anyways, at the Round Table Hold, I noticed that the door was closed, which kinda sucks. Then I read at the wiki that this door to the two fingers only opens after we've defeated a Shardbearer, aka Godrick. Margit does not count. We simply can't defeat bosses without a weapon. So there are only three options here. I either find a glitch that lets me get past this door, or I let a friend drop me the weapon or use cheats to get the weapon. I searched for glitches but never came across for one that lets me get past this door. So much for option 1. If you know any glitch, be sure to comment since I would really like to know. Option 2 is impossible since I have no friends, so option 3 it is. Now we get to the point where I would understand if any of you would think that my run is invalid. Let me explain. Since we are using Cheat Engine to gift us the item, I'm in risk of getting banned from online play. I don't want to risk a ban since I do play PvP quite often. And that's where Seamless Co-op comes into play. Seamless Co-op uses a different save type. Normal Elden Ring save files use the .sl2 data type. Seamless Co-op uses its own .co2 save type. The mod automatically loads the separate save files and leaves the normal ones unaffected. I only did this to avoid any possible bans and to avoid copy and pasting saves over and over. Seamless Co-op does not give me any benefits if I play alone, what of course I will do. And to offset any benefits I get, I will start the game in New Game Plus. You cannot get the Rose Bush without defeating any bosses, at least without glitches. So by starting on New Game Plus, I wanted to emulate me getting the weapon in New Game, just to start a New Game Plus run, to actually complete a Rose Bush run. Yeah, with all this explanation dump out of the way, we make a new guy, die, on my own conditions. Like a man in Limgrave, we use old East Asian witchcraft to summon the Bush. Oh, it appears our belief was so strong that the Maiden God gifted us a keepsake armor set. Isn't he generous? The road to Grandness may be harder than normal, but as long as we show our appreciation by gifting peaceful roses to our sweet Valentines, we will succeed.
I will bathe in your blood.
But there's a small small problem. We can't actually wield the Rosebush, so we have to farm runes first, because our damage really isn't quite there yet. But we can't just farm runes by killing stuff, so we have to let stuff kill stuff for us to get stuff. Technically we can attack, but yeah. I also thought about letting gravity do the work, but it didn't quite work for me. And after a bit of experimentation, the giant after the Gatefront Ruins Grace looked like a good enough farming spot. After a while I became quite proficient in directing the giant sweep attacks to catch those mobs. I also used the backstab iframes to grant me some more time for the giant to come closer. Of course, I also tried to defeat like an easy cave boss, but it just isn't worth it. After about an hour of farming, we finally have high enough stats to wield the Rosebush. Mostly thanks to Eugen Plus rune drops. And with this achievement I decided to give Margit a shot. And I have to say, we do more than triple the amount of her previous damage. But no, for real, this is really concerning. If the first boss takes no damage, what will the boss afterwards take, let alone Elden Beast? I think this is a good time to touch on the special properties of this weapon. VARRE'S Bouquet is a unique weapon shaped like a flower. In the entire video I said banquets because of my apparently undiagnosed illiteracy. Rosebush is one of the worst weapons in the game, mostly due to its extremely low damage output. But this weapon has a gimmick, insanely high bleed buildup, and as you can see, as long as bleed procs we are fine. But when it does not proc, then we're fucked. Its Ash of War blood tax amplifies its bleed buildup, and it also heals us a bit, but it takes a long time to finish the animation. But luckily Elden Ring is an open world game, and we can use the open world to get buffed. To do just so, we go to the Weeping Peninsula to grab a few secret tears and one golden seed, giving us one extra flask and upgrading our flask to +3. In East Limgrave we pick up another sacred tear and the green turtle talisman to upgrade our stamina regen. And of course we also have to upgrade our weapon a bit. To upgrade our maiden grabber, we need somber smithing stones. Somber smithing stones are harder to find than normal ones, but at least you only have to get one to upgrade your weapon and not like 6. We pick up somber smithing stone 1, 2, 3 in Leonia, and 4 in Caelid. And I use the teleporter by the Third Church of Marika to get to the Bestial Sanctum to get the Dragon Crest Shield Talisman, which boosts our defense by 10%. Now we're getting close to beating Margit, but with our low HP I don't think that we're anywhere close in beating it. So I farmed this knight by the camp to put a few points in HP. Then I decided to kill an Erdtree avatar to speed up our grind a bit. And then I remembered that Greyol exists. Greyol is a stationary dragon that in New Game Plus drops 150,000 runes, getting our HP to level 36. Now there are no excuses to avoid fighting Margit. I mean, proposing my love, of course. Ideally, we want to spam our Ash of War blood tax, which regenerates our HP and inflicts blood loss at the same time. The problem with blood tags is that the animation takes a long time. Mistiming it would result in a trade, and trading is not what we want. We can safely blood tax Margit after a strong and dashing attack. I had a few problems with his dagger and his hammer roll catch attack. At that time I had no idea how to properly dodge this attack. But that attack alone did not cause my death. Most of the time after eating a big fucking hammer, Margit decided to go in Beyblade mode, resulting in my death. But with how strong our blood damage is, Margit finally dies. But our weapon damage still is trash though. Our only plan to victory is our blood damage. If we have to fight a boss with bleed immunity, we might have a problem. Another annoying problem that I had while killing Greyol is the range of the weapon. We just can't hit shit. I am foreshadowing something. In Stormvale, we ran past everything to reach Godrick as fast as possible to slap his butt cheeks up by tickling him with our gentle rose. I always found Godrick to be easier than Margit. I don't know why, but he fell rather quick. What I really like about this fight is that you can jump over ground stomp to get free jump attack openings. Seems like Godrick is allergic to roses. What you'd normally do after defeating Godrick is either face Rennala or Radagon. I always prefer to face Rennala because she has way less HP and just is easier. But before we bless Lucaria with our roses, I decided to grab the Dectus medallion to enter the Altar's Plateau early. There's the talisman I wanted to grab, so I used weird wall collisions to get to the lift early. Right besides the lift and altars there are the Luxor ruins. There we defeat Gillica to obtain the ritual sword talisman to boost our attack at max HP. Since we're allowed to buff ourselves, I grabbed Flame Grant Me Strength and Kaled, Blood Flame and Liurnia, and the Golden Vow Ash of War and Limgrave. Golden Vow cannot be put on our roses, but it can be put on another separate weapon. This weapon's purpose is to only cast Golden Vow once, and then we're switching right back to the Rosebush. Back to the altar's hood, I grab as many Sacred Tears and Golden Seas as I can. Upgrading our flasks to +9 and having 10 flasks in total. With this setup I decided to kill Rennala. Nah, just kidding, I thought it was a good idea to first kill the Draconic tree Sentinel before Elden first. And it took a few hours to beat him, but I managed to pull through. It also got a bit heated.
Hasse dich. Okay, sag in mein Gesicht, fick dich. In mein Gesicht sagt ihr mir das. Nee, das ist wirklich... Was zum Fick? Fick dich. Nee, trifft ihn gar nicht.
In realization that I had to kill either Radagon or Rennala, I went to Lucaria. In a normal run I would completely destroy the Red Wolf of Radagon and not think twice about him, but in this flowery constellation I pretty much had to learn his moveset from scratch. At first I really disliked him. If you've seen my previous video on Dark Souls 3, you probably remember me absolutely hating magic bitches, and Dogger was no different. He runs away a lot, leaving me with few openings to actually hit him, and making my buffs run out. But after an hour I noticed that you can reliably jump over his horizontal sweep attacks, making this fight actually quite fun. By far not my favorite boss fight, but a pleasant surprise. Still took me 2 hours to beat him. On the way to Rennala we dodged the ball and cheesed the Carrion Knight, because he's a bitch. I mentioned that I hate magic cunts, but I'm about to completely contradict myself in saying that I actually like Rennala, which is the definition of a magic bitch. She has feet. What? They are really detailed. In a first phase it really makes no difference which weapon you use, just smack her children just like they deserve it and then propose with flowers in your hand to her. Our flowers smell so good that we wake her up. She still is hesitant to accept my flowers in fear that another man would just dip, but in the end she accepts, if she wants it or not. Before we enter Elden, I wanted to get a second Rosebush to please even harder. But this time we're getting it legitimately. And 2 roses inflict double the bleed, meaning double love. And just like Radagon, we too leave Rennala alone, just to get an audience with the 2 fingers. Now we can finally converse at the Church of Ella with the Maiden Lord. He then gifts us Maiden leftovers to state our dominance towards other Maiden hunters. Normally you just invade other players, but since we are offline, we'll have to invade Magnus at Writhe Blood's ruins via Summon Sign. This counts as an invasion, and with him dead, Varre notices us, but not so fast. First we have to acclaim our own maiden. And I might just have the perfect maiden in mind. A blind woman who cannot even defend herself. Truly the manliest thing I've ever done. Impressed, VARRE'S grants us an audience with the Lord of Sims. We use this medallion to port to Morgott Dynasty and become the true Maiden Lord. With both roses in hand, we try to take on Godfrey, the Golden, but all of our preparation work has gone to waste since he's immune to bleed. Very nice. So, the only thing I can do to beat his ass is praying, but with an unupgraded rose, we shan't dominate him. So, again, I searched the world for somber smithing stones to get my bad boy up to +6 too. Furthermore, I picked up the Dragon Prayer Book in Eastern Leonia. We can give this one to a gentleman turtle to get Electrify Armament, since Godrick is weak to electric. To get one of the best buffs in the game, I stole the Golden Vow incantation in the Corpse Stench Shack. It's the same as our Golden Vow Ash of War, but the spell is just better. After Godfrey the Golden, we have a reunion with the one who rejected our gift. Coming so close to victory so many times, I decided to ramp up my stats so that stats aren't a problem anymore. I used the rune farm glitch in Morgott Palace to get Vigor to level 60, Mind to level 27, so that we can cast more buffs without giving up a healing flask. Stamina to level 41 to get a light roll, one of my best decisions in life ever. Of course, I have put stuff in my Fidget, but I always forget to use it and to put stuff in it in general. I always use the Storm Carp crystal tier, which you can get by defeating an Erdtree avatar in this spot in Kalit. This tier boosts our posture damage. And more often than not, I have the Spiked crystal tier in it too, to boost charge attacks. You can just grab it by the tree and Mistwood runes. With this setup, we have a good chance to win. And with our light roll, it is much easier to dodge the hammer sweep attack, which I had so much trouble with while fighting Margit. At last, Morgott dies a painful death where I prove my dominance once and for all. And as a reward, Melina invites us to a vacation to the mountains. Before we can accept, we pick up the Blood Lord Talisman, which increases our attack when blood loss occurs. A crucial charm for the rest of the game. At our vacation spot, we get interrupted by a jealous, maidenless giant. So, as a reasonable reaction, I calmly broke his leg and make his race go extinct. Melina seems to be celebrating a bit too hard by putting herself on fire, but it looks nice, I guess. Seems like I drank a bit too much too, huh? How the fuck did I get here? Everybody knows Foreskin duo and everybody hates them, including me. Have a look.
Digga! Du Nutte!
So ein Wichser.
Du Wichser! Du bist ja ein Helikopter! Als nächstes hebst du wirklich ab. Dieser kleine... Wie hässlich kann man sein? Ich schwöre, ich würde ihn komplett ficken in 1 gegen 1 von Fortnite, ja? Also dann hätte er keine Chance. Einfach nur ein schlechter Boss. Wirklich. Ein Scheiß. Einfach nervig. So Ornstein und Smoke auf den Wish bestellt. On Crack. So Ketamin inklusive. Die obdachlose Version von. Ich werde jeden steinigen, der diesen Boss irgendwie verteidigt. Ja, das ist eine Morddrohung. Wirklich ohne Gottes Geduld hätte ich das Spiel gar nicht verstanden. Also, zum Glück gibt es die. Und an diesem Punkt im Spiel, zum Glück muss man sie machen. Komplett angelatscht, der Huren so. Guck ihn ab. Wieder mit dem Unterläuft. So eine Missgeburt. Ja. Ich muss den Spieler auf den Sack gehen. I need to go on the sack. Oh mein... Wie habe ich gewonnen? Und was fühle ich? Gar nichts. Denn ich habe keine Challenge überwunden. Ich habe einfach nur Glück gehabt. Ich hasse es. Dankeschön. Aber jetzt geht's weiter. I don't want to waste more time on these bastards. I hate them with my entire soul and would rather fight Battle of Chaos 5 times blind than this bastard once more. After a miracle, we finally face a good boss. Beast Clergyman is a very fun boss with jumpable attacks. I like jumping if you haven't noticed yet.
Malikath, on the other hand, is still a good boss, but hard as fuck. If you get hit once, you lose max HP and get fire damage, draining your HP for 10 seconds. So if you're just barely surviving his attacks, you're dead, because fire damage. And if you're not inside him, his bootleg waterfall dance will just end you. By staying close, I somehow managed to defeat him after 30 minutes. After defeating Malikath, the boss rush mode starts. We smack Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-sucking.
My fella, you fought well until now. Fick dich. Digga, du bist ne Nutte!
And face my favorite and manliest boss in the game. His muscles are so massive. He is the gravitational center of the solar system, not the sun. He made the Big Bang happen. And he is the reason why it's called the Big Bounce, since he restarts the entire universe every time it collapses. Daddy? Take my roses in. I find Godfrey to be pretty easy and fun to jump. Jumping good. Saying our final goodbyes to Oto-sama. We finally fight the final boss of the game. A ginger. While fighting him, I noticed that my bleed would not proc. Then I looked at the wiki and found out that Radagon and Elden Beast are immune to bleed. Now you're probably saying, hey, it doesn't matter, your damage is good enough. Yes and no. If we use every single buff we can physically put on, then yes, it's okay. But these buffs run out and the fight takes very long since, according to my imagination, 80% of the time the buffs last until Radagon is at half HP. And Radagon has the attribute to not let you buff yourself. You first have to fucking surround the entire lands between to get a single buff, and then there's Elden Beast. What I think is kind of cool is when fighting Elden Beast, electric buffs are 10% better since you fight him in water. Yes, one of our buffs does 10% more damage, but that's it. And Elden Beast just loves to fly away and make my buffs run out. Love it. After 3 hours of long attempts, I managed to beat the final boss of the game. Somehow. And with proving to the entire lands between our dominance in maiden hunting and rose elegance, there is still one opponent whose hair is said to be a more powerful red than our flowers, and her fighting style more elegant and proficient than ours. Blasphemy, I say! And to prove my white male privilege and dominance, we teach Millennia Blade of Mikola, who has never known defeat, what elegance really is and really means. But first we have to get to her. To get to her, I used the skip in the mountaintops of the giants to skip having to fight Commander Nyal and to go straight to business. We quickly lift the curse of this poor town and gain access to the Tree of Blasphemy. Finally reaching Millennia, simp of Mikola. Usually I'm a very calm player.
Meine Scarlet Rot, ja f*** dich, du Nutze. Einfach keine F***e. Weißt du was? Vorher keine Heilung. Alter Cringe.
But Millennia... She's really testing my patience. No, that's not it. She gives a fuck about my patience, about you, or about anyone else. Phase 1 Millennia is probably my favorite fight in Elden Ring, period. She's staggerable like Frida, which I like, and it is a battle of wits and tacticality. And she's also kind enough to let me heal and buff myself in the downtime, when she's just staring at me for some reason. Guess she wants my flowers. But that's all a facade, I say. In her second phase, we see who she really is. A monster, a nice one, but still a monster who has never heard of the word called chill the fuck out. No, she's defending her title as the most elegant person in the lands between, like her life depends on it. And then I start to question myself. Maybe I have finally met my match. In phase 2 she can just spam waterfall dance as much as she likes and her even more bullshit phantom attack. She knows no mercy. Maybe I should just stop and embrace destined death and give up. But no, that's impossible. I have only one goal, and that one goal is to be the most elegant person in existence. Even if it takes days, weeks, months, years, I won't give up. After ages pass.
Your strength, extraordinary.
In the end, we are the only one standing as the most elegant person on the planet. This truly proves that persistence is key to everything. Stay determined and you can achieve everything. And yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you learned some real life lessons in this video. Be sure to check out my second channel where I upload music, and I'm planning to upload a video talking about Gwyn's theme and its meaning. The script is done and I'll just have to produce the video. So if you're interested in music related stuff, be sure to check it out. Oh, and also be sure to leave some run suggestions in the comments. I'd love to take some of your ideas on. Take it easy and until next time, adios.